I thought I'd start this review on the toilet because I'm gonna shit all over this movie. Welcome to my review of All Eyez on Me. We're doing the first draft of this movie. What do we know about Tupac? He got shot! Yes, that's a great starting point. What else do we know about him? Nothing? We'll come up with it. Contrary to popular belief, I believe that's exactly what the fuck went on in the director's room. Oh god, I just saw All Eyez on Me. And everything that you've heard about this movie that was bad is 100% true. It's just like they had $20 and a Tupac Greatest Hits CD and was like, you know what? We're gonna make a movie. So we start off the movie with this interview. And they're talking to Tupac, and the year shows up. And my friend looks over at me, he's like, hey, what year did Tupac get shot? I'm like, 96? The year on the screen is 95. We're like, well, we're close to the end. This movie's 2 hours, really? We get a look at Tupac at the height of his success. He's on death row, the record, not in jail, even though he's in jail during the interview. Never mind that. Chanting his name and everything, Tupac, Tupac. And then we go back to when he's a child. His mother was a Black Panther, and they touch on that a little bit, how she was pregnant with him in jail. She has Tupac off screen. And we get to a part where we meet his stepfather, and his stepfather is wanted by the FBI. What happens to him? Who cares? That is a theme throughout the movie. If you want to explain something, if you want something explained, who cares? Oh yeah, his mother is played by Michonne, and she shows so much more range than she will ever have on The Walking Dead. The FBI agents that busted in his room were ruthless. They didn't give a fuck that he was a kid. Oh yeah, before you know it, Tupac's growing up. And he's just watching police be bad. Because, you know, police, they're all evil. I don't know, lately. So, grown-up Tupac. He meets D. Ray Davis. I'm sorry, I have seen D. Ray Davis do too many goofy shit for me to take him seriously. He dropped his voice down a little octave and we're just like, oh my god, D. Ray. All of a sudden they're talking and he seems like this little moral compass, this possible father figure. And then this guy walks by and he just beats the shit out of the guy. Why did he do that? Who cares? We also get a small glimpse of his relationship with Jada while he's at the Baltimore Arts Center. And yeah, not much to really touch on. They'll touch on it, dabble in it every now and then throughout the film, but it's not exactly a focus. It might be actually the most consistent thing throughout this whole film. So later on we find out they have to move to California. But they move, and who cares how they moved? Who cares why they had to move? Who cares? And Tupac has met the Digital Underground through this white lady. Who cares how he became a rapper? He just met the right people. Well, you know, we come back, his mom's on crack. Whoa. So Tupac decides that he can't just be dealing with this being a sidekick shit on the road. And he tells the Digital Underground about that. And what might be one of the funniest fake outs I've ever seen, he's like, hey yo, I'm either gonna be on my own or I'm gonna have to step. He said, then get the fuck out of here. Oh god, I died laughing. Pac on his first performance, and for some reason they just decided to have him perform with Digital Underground and not the song that he's on. Okay, whatever. So then they started recreating the same song video. Can we not? Why did they recreate all these videos? Did they need to just hit 2 hours and 20 minutes? They didn't have to recreate all these videos. They recreate I Get Around. They recreate... Now, they don't recreate Brenda's Got a Baby, but they show the video. And as soon as Tupac's face is about to show up, they fade away. So I got to thinking that they can't show Tupac's face. They dubbed over his face on all of the album covers. I'm like, I know that you're trying to get that his face is Tupac, but a theme throughout this film that I have a problem with is two things. And it all comes together with the music. Why is the pacing so weird in this movie? All of a sudden, a bunch of women think Tupac don't like women. So Tupac, what song's coming up? Keep your head up. His mama is being really tender to him at this moment. What song's coming on? Dear Mama. Like, Tupac's got bitches right now. What song's coming on? I Get Around. That's not the exact order for I Get Around. At least he was in prison, but Tupac just walks into studios hearing his beats to his songs and just know the lyrics. It was like Glee. It was like Tupac Glee. Ain't nothing but a gangsta party. And we're like, Tupac, how do you know this song? Who cares? Your theme throughout the movie is he just quotes Shakespeare a lot. I don't know how accurate that is. He's a smart man. I don't think he just read Shakespeare. I mean, he didn't read about Darwin or anybody else. He just quoted Shakespeare and it made him look like he had a soul. When we get to the fan fiction a little bit here, I'm not saying that they didn't treat him like shit in prison. And I'm not saying that the cops didn't treat him like shit like that. And I don't know if he talked to them like that every time. But boy, oh boy, did they go overboard with most of Tupac's interactions. They had Tupac in the club as him and Biggie, and they meet this new guy who becomes a slightly integral part in the story. They meet this guy, and everybody's just calm. It's just normal. He's like, hey, what's up? This is this guy. And then Pac meets him, and he's like, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? He ain't had nothing to drink. Ain't nothing going. There's nothing. There's no excitement. There's just like, hey, be Tupac. Don't act. Just be Tupac. You seen that interview with Tupac? That's how he is all the time. But what about during calm times? Who cares? And we get to his relationship with Biggie. It's a nice surprise. It's the same guy from Notorious. They don't give him much to work with. It's like a lot of people in this movie was just like, we don't give a fuck. Biggie didn't give a fuck. There was a scene after Tupac gets shot, and Tupac is in the hospital, and Biggie's trying to see him. And Biggie's like, come on, man, y'all tripping. Stop following. Why y'all following me? Those are his words. And I'm like, did Biggie forget his lines? Was Biggie supposed to say fuck you? Well, he just said, he said he doesn't want to say that right now. Who cares? Who cares? How do I feel about the actor who played Tupac? Towards the later part of the film, he does show a little bit more soul and breathes a little bit more life into the role. But in the beginning parts, it was just like, they just told him, act like Tupac. And that's just what he does. Hold your head low. Look to the side like this when you talk to people. When you're in a studio. Just bounce up and down. That's how Pac raps. There was an interview that they showed that he did before. I remember from the Changes video. And he was like talking about how he can't be responsible for what other people do. I can only be responsible for what I do. I don't know how to be responsible for that. And I'm watching it, and the guy just like, I don't know how to be responsible for people. I don't want to be responsible for what I do. I'm like, Pac wasn't always this hype. This isn't this. Who is this? What is he doing? What are we doing? Who made this? Does anybody back there care? Who cares? So his mom's off crack. How it happened? Did he visit her in rehab? How's she doing now? Has she had any relapse? Who cares? His sister, she's got 2 kids. Do we see him? Who needs to? Who cares? As we get too close to him being on death row, the record label, all of a sudden The way he meets Suge Knight is he's walking out of Interscope and just runs into Suge Knight, who's walking into Interscope. Why? What is Suge Knight doing there? Who cares, I guess, right? I don't even have the energy to do that again. They didn't care. Snoop Dogg. Oh my God, let's talk about Snoop Dogg. What the fuck was that? What did the actor not sound like him? Why did they dub over Snoop Dogg's voice over the actor? Did they think that wouldn't cause a disconnect between the audience and the actor to just hear Snoop Dogg's voice? That was weird. Not only did the dude not look like Snoop Dogg, he was just a voice. He was just a person. He didn't have a voice. The voice that came out of him was Snoop Dogg's dubbed over voice. And with Dr. Dre, they didn't give a fuck about that. They straight up just had Dr. Dre say about 5 words before, so you don't notice how much this guy doesn't look like Dr. Dre, doesn't sound like Dr. Dre, doesn't act like Dr. Dre. Oh, Suge Knight is this menacing, fat, black guy. I will say I think Straight Outta Compton got a better feel of the character. This one was just kind of like he'd randomly beat the fuck out of people for no reason, just whenever he felt like it. It didn't matter why, because that's Suge Knight, I guess. That's Suge Knight. You're not supposed to laugh at him stuffing mashed potatoes in somebody's mouth. You're not supposed to laugh at him smashing mashed potatoes in somebody's mouth. But man, that scene was fucking hilarious. Don't be surprised if I do a parody of that. I love how all these people were like seemingly supposed to try to warn him about stuff that they literally had no reason to doubt. Like in the midst of him being on death row, he gets visited again by the guy with the glasses who helped him get his start. I low-key never learned his name. The guy talks to him a little bit, and then he's about to leave, and then he has this stand there behind him where he seems like he's gonna say something, or he could say something, and it's like an uncomfortable 10 seconds, maybe 15, and you're just watching him on screen just like, okay, we get it. He could have told him, he could have warned him. We get to the end, and we've already gotten through all the beef with the East Coast, West Coast. That's like slightly edged over. He starts having beef with Snoop Dogg for saying that Biggie and them are his homies. Even at the end, where he meets Quincy Jones' daughter, and they're engaged and they're loved, he has this weird timing where he's pacing outside the hotel door like, I could stay. And where his audience was supposed to be like, man, if only Tupac went back in that hotel room. I highly doubt that he was pacing around like that. He was on his way to the club and he was out that door. He was not pacing outside of his hotel room. I doubt that. People don't know that when they're gonna die. They don't know it. I guess we're supposed to think that Pac was on to something new before he died. It was a much softer sound. I'm not saying the music was fake. I'm pretty sure that was a real song by Pac, because they stuffed a whole lot of other songs in there. Tupac even looked bored when he was dying. Please believe this is not any kind of dig at Tupac the artist or his family or anything about it. This is a dig at the actor. This is like the end of the Tupac movie. Act dead, Tupac. So if you're wondering what I give this movie, I give it 2 Pacs out of 10. And you're like, wow, that's a really bad joke. This movie is that corny and that bad that that's the kind of rating it gets. I expected so much from this movie. It disappointed me. I know I haven't said this in a while, but thank you for watching. Hope you subscribe. Click the like button down there. Also, share this on Facebook and wherever else that you can, on Twitter as well. I'm Elon Rich, and I'll catch you tomorrow.
Now look at you walking in here looking all pretty and angry and mean and good. I know you didn't get your hair done so you could just sit down and just sit still.
Hey, we trying to have a good time tonight. Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby.